Getting our hands all inky now with the French newspapers. Florence Villeneuve here. Of course, the French military success in Mali is all over the papers, isn't it?
That's right. We're going to start with the Figaro that has a very good map, and it shows what it calls France's blitzkrieg in the Sahel region. Now, in the last couple of days, French and Malian troops have taken back Timbuktu and Gao, and the Figaro points out that these are very strategic and symbolic towns, and there you can see that map there with all the arrows pointing to the direction that the Islamist groups are fleeing towards the north, this mountainous region that Le Figaro says is very much their turf. And according to Le Monde, this is proof that the hardest part is yet to come. The hardest part will be to go into these mountainous regions and get Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb in its sanctuary, as Le Monde calls it.
And the Huffington Post is picking up on that, asking that key question, really, isn't it? What next?
That's right. According to the Huffington Post, after Gao and Timbuktu, there's a lot of uncertainty over which direction France's military intervention in Mali is going. Now, since the enemy has moved north, this means that logistically things are going to be more complicated for French and Malian troops. For instance, in terms of providing supplies, it's going to take a lot longer. Also, the Huffington Post points out that there would be a risk of terrorist attacks in cities that French and Malian troops have freed. But the Huffington Post says there are also reasons to be very optimistic about the next step. First of all, there are splinter groups of the terrorist organizations, including a splinter group of Ansar Dine that have said that they're ready to negotiate. And on top of that, the Tuareg minority has said that they're ready to step in and help French troops, which would be very good because they know the area quite well. But the Huffington Post points out that in exchange for their help, the Malian government is going to have to recognize their rights.
Move on to another story. Today, French Parliament set to debate a controversial plan to legalise gay marriage, of course.
That's right. It's on the front page. I'm just going to put my earpiece back in.
Yeah.
It's on the front page of Aujourd'hui en France. You see the Justice Minister, Christine Taubira, here, and it says that there's a storm brewing on the National Assembly, which is the Parliament here in France. And Aujourd'hui en France takes a closer look inside and says that Taubira is going to be in the spotlight for the coming weeks, as is the Minister for Family Affairs, Dominique Bertinotti, and you see her there on the left. Now, they're going to have to defend the government's bill in the face of very tough opposition. Aujourd'hui en France calls them a fantastic duo, but points out that they're not always on the same page. For instance, they disagree over the issue of medically assisted procreation. Taubira is against it. Bertinotti is in favor. Also, Aujourd'hui en France points out that for the opposition, Bertinotti is seen somewhat as the weaker link because she doesn't have as much experience, and it's her first time in Parliament, actually. Well, her first time being represented in Parliament.
Libération, a special report from Fukushima nearly 2 years after the disaster there.
That's right. Now, Libération says it was a triple disaster. First of all, you had the earthquake, then you had the tsunami, and then, of course, you had the meltdown of the Fukushima Daiichi power plant. Now, according to Libération, the wounds of the earthquake and the tsunami are being healed little by little with reconstruction, but it's a different story for the nuclear catastrophe. 2 years later, it points out that there's still very, very high levels of radioactive material there, and it points out that groups of volunteers are working tirelessly around the clock to literally scrape the earth off the ground.
Finally, we're going to end in music. You're going to sing, Flo?
No, I'm not going to sing, but we're going to listen to a former First Lady, Carla Bruni.
Okay.
She's released a single, and
back.
perhaps we can take a little bit of a listen while I tell you about it. The song is called Keith and Anita, and there you can hear it. You can see this video has been put online. It was put online yesterday, and guess what yesterday was, Stuart?
It was the 27th of January.
It was Nicolas
28th.
Sarkozy's birthday.
Oh, okay,
it was
yes,
his
I did hear that
58th
Right.
birthday, and so this was somewhat, I guess, of a birthday present
Okay.
for him. So this is the first song off her album, which is called Little French Songs, which will come out on April 1st, and that's not a joke.
Lovely stuff. Keith and Anita should be called Nicola and Carla. Thanks very much. That's Florence with the French newspapers here on France 24. Stay with us.